Welcome back in, guys, to Vinny and the Jets. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. Guys, this is my favorite weekend of the year. It is Wild Card Weekend. It's the first round of the NFL playoffs. So today's video primarily is going to talk about the breakdown of the games. We're going to go over the point spreads for anyone who's going to be placing bets this weekend. I got scores and predictions all lined up for all the games, Saturday, Sunday, the Monday night special, which is a nice treat that the league has created. As far as the Jets go, as the time and the weeks go by, I think I'll do a video in the future, the near future, hopefully, about potential free agents that the Jets should target going into the 2022 season. I also probably do an NFL draft breakdown of who we should take position by position. I by no means am an NFL draft expert, but maybe we could talk about some needs, some wants, some things to avoid once we get closer to the draft. But as far as this episode goes, we're going to talk about the playoffs. And as each week goes by, each round, we'll keep doing breakdowns and analysis with that. I also have my brackets set up, so I got a Super Bowl prediction for you guys. So let's get right into it. So let's start with Saturday's games. We open Saturday at 4:30 p.m. with the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Las Vegas Raiders. The game is in Cincinnati. Cincinnati is the 4 seed, so they will be hosting. They are 5.5 favorites. I think Joe Burrow has had a hell of a season, such an amazing turnaround. I mean, just 2 years ago, this was the worst team in football, and here they are in the playoffs. As far as the Las Vegas Raiders are concerned, I think they played the game of the year last week to clinch that playoff spot by defeating the LA Chargers. It's still weird saying LA instead of San Diego, but in that absolute thriller that went down to the wire in overtime. That being said, though, I think the season comes to an end for the Raiders. I like Cincinnati here. I would lay the 5.5. I like Cincinnati to win at home by a final margin of 27-20. The evening game, this is a big one. It's the New England Patriots are going to be visiting the Buffalo Bills. This is their third matchup of the year. Buffalo is at home, and they're expected frigid conditions there. It might drop below 0, and that should actually help the Bills, especially going up against a rookie quarterback in a very hostile environment. And you know what it's like in Buffalo. That's an absolute pit to play in. So that being said, nobody prepares for a game, especially a playoff game like Bill Belichick. So I expect this to be tight. I expect this to come down to the wire. I would actually take the points here. I would take New England plus 4.5. However, I expect the Bills to actually win on the field. Final margin, 21-20. I think the ball gets back into Mac Jones' hands at the end of the game with an opportunity to drive and win the game with a clinching field goal, and he makes a lethal interception that seals their fate. So Bills will advance, but if you're putting money on it, I take New England with the 4.5. Moving on to Sunday. We open at 1 p.m. with the Philadelphia Eagles, our 8.5-point underdogs, visiting Tom Brady and company in Tampa Bay. Tampa is extremely banged up. AB's not there. Godwin's season's over. Gronkowski is hobbling. Brady's 44 years old, but the GOAT is the GOAT. That being said, this is another game where I think Philly's going to put up a very valiant effort. I think Jalen Hurts has been playing phenomenal. I think if they run the ball and they establish the run early, that they could have a chance to take this down into the third and the fourth quarter. That being said, if you have money on this, I would absolutely take the points. I would take Philly plus the 8.5. However, I do expect Tampa Bay to win this game by a final margin of 24-20. Tampa on the field. Second game of Sunday we have, and this is my upset special, so lock this in. San Francisco 49ers are visiting the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is favored by 3. Jimmy Garoppolo these past few weeks has been absolutely hot. I think Dallas is totally overrated, and I would love to see them fail on the biggest stage of all. And I want to see all these Cowboys fans justify to me that $40 million contract, because honestly, I don't think Dak Prescott is any good at all. And there's going to be a lot of explaining to do if they're one and done after a 12-5 season. So here is my margin in an absolute shootout that goes down to the last minute of the fourth quarter. I take Jimmy and company, bet the 49ers, taking the points, winning on the field, final score, 38-35. Book it. And then we go to our Sunday night finale. This is the biggest point spread of them all. It could be Ben Roethlisberger's last game as a professional. Pittsburgh is visiting the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending AFC champions. They are 12.5-point underdogs. Mahomes is Mahomes. I mean, that offense is absolutely electric. He has all his weapons at his disposal. Ben is hobbled by injuries. The whole team is just, they're banged up. They've had a tough year. I think it was awesome for them to get him that one extra game, but this is not going to be a game. I think they win. The game is going to be over by the third quarter. If you're laying money on this, I actually feel totally comfortable laying the 12.5. I take Kansas City in this, and I think they win very comfortably, 37-20. The only thing with this game is I'm surprised they're making this the Sunday night finale. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that more likely than not, it's Ben's last game. I would have loved to see the Cowboys and the 49ers in prime time, but that's the NFL for you. So then, last game of Wild Card Weekend, and I love that they're doing this Monday night game for a playoff game. It's awesome. Third matchup of the year. They split during the regular season. The Arizona Cardinals are 4-point underdogs visiting the Los Angeles Rams. They stole one from each one of them this year. Each team won a game. I think Matt Stafford has a lot to prove to justify the trade of the 2 number ones that they gave up to bring him to LA. Kyler Murray and company, they started off the season hot. I think they started 7-0 before injuries and the league caught on to what they were doing. I think this is a very tight game. However, that being said, I like the Rams. However, the Rams to win on the field. As far as the point spread goes, if I was putting money on, I feel comfortable taking the 4 points with Arizona. I think the Rams win, though, on the field by a final margin of 30-27. So, now that we got the wild card out of the way, let's move on to the hypothetical scenarios of what the divisional round will take place next weekend. So we'll start with the AFC. Being an AFC fan, I like starting with the American Football Conference. So the number 1 seeded Tennessee Titans would host the Cincinnati Bengals in that case. This is where Joe Burrow's season comes to an end. I don't have final scores, by the way, for divisional round, but I think the Titans are going to host the AFC title game, and I think they knock off the Bengals comfortably. In the other bracket in the AFC, we're going to have the Buffalo Bills visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a rematch of an AFC title game from a couple seasons back. Unfortunately for you Bills fans, when you think just everything started to click, I think your season gets derailed. I think Mahomes and company takes it to them again, seals their fate, and the AFC title game will be another AFC title game rematch of the past. Tennessee Titans hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. And that being said, I think the Kansas City Chiefs go into Tennessee and they upset the Titans in Nashville. And your AFC champions are going to be the Kansas City Chiefs for the 3rd consecutive year. I hate to say it, but I still think they're the best team in the conference, bar none. That's nothing to take away from Mike Vrabel. I think he should be the coach of the year. It's amazing what he's done with Ryan Tannehill and company when they thought he was an outcast, just an outcast over there in Miami. He literally rescued his career. I would love to have a coach like that on our team. But unfortunately, I think it comes to an end there at home there. But KC to win the conference. So let's switch it over now to the NFC and go to their divisional round, where the first game you would have Green Bay hosting in Lambeau Field the 6th-seeded San Francisco 49ers, coming off the huge upset of the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, that would feel so great. The huge upset. And unfortunately, this is where everything comes to an end for Jimmy G and company. You're going to go be playing in the frozen tundra, Lambeau Field. Rodgers is the MVP of the league. I think he crucifies the 49ers, and they get to host the NFC title game. Second bracket, the Los Angeles Rams would then travel down to Tampa to face Tom Brady and company. And this is where I hate to say it. I really hate to say it, because everything in me before I did this wanted to pick the Rams because I'm such a big Matt Stafford fan. But unfortunately, I can't bet against Tom Brady in this case, especially at home. Even with all his weapons being depleted, I still think he figures out a way to break the hearts of the fans of the LA Rams. And I think we're going to get a rematch of last year's NFC title game. Battle of the Bays, the Bucs will visit the Packers in Lambeau Field. So, NFC title game. Who's going to take it? Is Brady going to be playing in his 11th Super Bowl, or does Rodgers finally come in and get his glory? So, coming down to the wire, I think it's going to be Rodgers. I think Green Bay has the most complete team in the league. I think they take it to them. I don't think it's going to come down to the wire. I think Brady puts up a very tough effort, a very sound effort, but I think the Packers pull it off, and I just think it's going to be frigid conditions, and I think they just make life an absolute misery of hell for Tom Brady and company. I think they just run out of gas, for lack of a better way of saying it. So your Super Bowl, coincidentally, is going to be a rematch of the very first Super Bowl in 1967. The Green Bay Packers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and everything comes full circle with this league. Just the amount of storylines that you could write with that it's incredible. Just with the Super Bowl I rematch and what everybody wants in this country, offensive matchups, offensive, like high octane, just warfare between the two top quarterbacks in this league, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Mike LaFleur, Andy Reid. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? I think it's easy to say here. It's going to be a battle. It would be a fight. I really believe soundly that the Green Bay Packers are going to win the Super Bowl this year. And then I firmly believe that once it's over in the offseason, it's going to be Rodgers' wash, because I think he holds the Packers hostage for just the contract of a lifetime, or do they trade the Super Bowl MVP? So many storylines you could write from just the storybook ending for Rodgers. Does he ride off into the sunset being done with football like he's claimed before he could possibly do? Does he sign an extension with Green Bay? Does he take a trade to go resurrect the Pittsburgh Steelers? Who knows? But I'm excited. This is seriously my favorite weekend of the year. Let me know what you think below. What's your suggestions for next week with the divisional round, AFC and NFC title games? Would you like me to do a video about free agency or possible mock draft, draft analysis? Again, I am not a draft expert, but I could do my best. I'm just a fan like you guys. So that being said, guys, enjoy the games this weekend. I'll talk to you next time.